Hello, I'm Michael Fitzpatrick, and I'm a volunteer moderator to assist in this program. With the help of M-PACT, in particular, Bruce Hendricks, Ryan, who's on the other side of the camera here, and the entire M-PACT team, we're able to alert the voters in Monson of the caliber and the characteristics of the candidates seeking their support in the town election. Now, the town election date is June 10th, which is a little week ahead versus last year, from 8 to 8 at the Memorial Hall on Main Street. And we do encourage everyone to take advantage of the voting opportunity that's provided to them. In addition, the Monson Democratic Town Committee has a candidates night on Saturday, June 7th, organized primarily by Karen Nody Valley with assistance from her husband Keith and others. And we encourage all candidates, regardless of their affiliation, to consider being present at that function. It gives the candidates an opportunity to have a personal presentation at no charge to their seeking the support of the voters. Any money raised from that event is used for the scholarship that's awarded to the high school students from Monson High School and our Pathfinder, pending the review of the scholarship subcommittee. I'd like to thank the scholarship subcommittee for their volunteerism as well. In addition, this program is being produced by Dorothy Jenkins. Dot is a long-term public servant, and we appreciate her assistance in this. So let's look at the warrant that will be provided on June 10th for your voting opportunities. At the top of the warrant, we have the select board candidates, 3 years with a vote for one. There are 2 candidates who have announced and submitted the necessary paperwork to the town clerk. We also thank the town clerk for her professionalism in organizing this and previous elections. John Morrell of East Hill is a candidate for re-election. He was the former highway superintendent. Roxanne Gunther of May Hill Road is seeking that position as well. So there are 2 individuals seeking the opportunity for one to serve. The moderator, there are 2 announced candidates. It's a 3-year, once again, a single position. The incumbent is Peter Matro of Green Street, and the challenger is Lauren McDonald of Country Club Heights. In the Board of Assessors category, candidate for re-election for a 3-year term for a vote for one, Russell Brissett of Stewart Avenue. For school committee, there are 3 candidates with 2 opportunities to serve. We have Colleen Flynn of Reynolds Ave as a candidate for re-election. We have Jamie Murphy of Ayers Road, also a candidate for re-election. And competing for that opportunity for 2 seats is John Bowden of Wilbraham Road. For the Water Sewer Commission, a 3-year vote for one, we have a single candidate, Michael Zwed of Elm Street. For the Cemetery Commission, we have a vote for one 3-year seat for October Boots of Main Street. For the Park and Recreation Commission, we have a 3-year seat, vote for one, for Christopher Howard of Bethany Road. And for the closing out the warrant, the Housing Authority, a 5-year duration of term, a vote for one, Dolores Scott of Hovey Road. Each of the candidates has presented their candidacy before you and seeks your support. We encourage you to recognize their willingness to serve, and then, of course, make your own determination who you feel will best serve the town. Once again, I'd like to thank M-PACT, Bruce, and again, Ryan on the other side of the camera, and certainly Dot Jenkins for the producer of this program. Best wishes, good health. Thank you.
Dear citizens of Monson, my name is John Morrell, and I'm running for re-election to the office of the Select Board. My credentials are experience, honesty, and truth. I've lived and grew up in Monson since 1954. I've lived in my home on East Hill Road since 1979, where my wife, Nancy Morrell, the former Monson town clerk, and I raised two daughters, Nicole and Jennifer. I deeply care about our town and its future. I was your elected Monson Highway Surveyor for 39 years, keeping our residents safe, and obtained over $22 million in grants for road work improvements that we were not ordinarily entitled to. I retired from that position in 2019. I also held two other town positions as I served on the Monson Water Sewer Commission for 6 years, where I was responsible and found over $100,000 in the Conant Dam Brook account, which I used to put in a new water sewer building next to the highway garage, and got that department out of the old crowded town hall annex basement. I also served on the select board for 9 years. My experience in our town government is unmatched by my opponent and gives me a variety of knowledge. As Albert Einstein once said, the only source of knowledge is experience. I will continue to work hard for the residents of our community. Because of our board's persistence, the state has moved forward with a developer for the Monson Developmental Center. A contractor has been awarded the bid to remove numerous old unusable buildings on that site. This process will begin shortly to allow for the property to be developed. This will bring new tax dollars to our community. It has been a pleasure to work and serve with the other two board members and our town administrator to keep our town safe and keep our town's character. Challenges will continue to appear, but I'm ready to deal with them in the best interest of our community. And I listen to you, the voters and taxpayers. I would appreciate your consideration for your vote to re-elect me to the Select Board, and thank you for listening. Good day.
Hello, my name is Roxanne Gunther, and I hope to be the next member of the Select Board. I'd like to tell you a few things about myself. I've lived here in Monson since 2003. I'm a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother, and my whole family lives here. I also have a vested interest in the schools and what's happening with them because I have grandchildren in the system. I started to become actively involved in the community around 2016 and started going to select board meetings. It was interesting to see how government worked firsthand. If I didn't know something, I would ask because that's how you learn, and I have learned a lot since then. I became a member of the General Bylaw Committee 3 years ago, and we updated our bylaws, and it was very time-consuming but well worth it. Our labor of love will be presented this Monday at town meeting. I have also been a proud member of the Quabog Riders Women's Auxiliary for the past 15 years. I also participate in Summerfest during that time. I have helped the Quabog Riders decorate their float, and with the Women's Auxiliary, we put on the doll carriage and bike parade, which is one of the highlights of our year. I believe that I will be an asset as a member of the Select Board and that I will make myself available to talk to anyone that may have an issue. I won't promise that I can help everybody, but I will do my best to try to find a solution, which is all that anyone can ask. If I don't know something, I will research until I find the answer or call Boston if need be to get the answer. I believe there should be transparency in town government, and if you have watched me, I have said that many times, and I don't feel like we have that right now. I think there are things being done without the good of our town, such as the project on High Street, and whatever is happening with Bunyan Road and Country Club Heights. This is something that needs a lot of discussion, and I don't think it's a done deal by any means. I hope that you will vote for me so that we can have good things come together in the coming years, and I thank you for your support.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Peter Matro, and I am the Monson Town Moderator, seeking re-election in my 4th term. Most of you know me because I've lived my entire life in Monson and have been serving the community throughout those from the earliest days as a Monson day camp counselor, being an educator for 36 years here in town, chairing and co-chairing various town committees, being a Cub Scout, Boy Scout, Venture Leader Scout, and my work on Monson Summerfest. And I'm extremely active at my church, St. Patrick's. Prior to becoming moderator and having attended several town meetings, I sensed the need for a certain decorum that might give the body a feeling of my participation counts. My voice is being heard. So from the very beginning of my tenure, I've invited everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of the town meetings, as I believe it sets a tone of togetherness and reminds us the importance of our legislative duty to our town. This new practice has become part of other town committees as well. A lot of people ask what the moderator's job is, and the primary function of the moderator is to preside and regulate the proceedings, decide all questions of order, and make public declarations of the votes. To this end, I developed a set of town meeting norms with picture communication symbols, which I update as needed to be in line with current best practices related to presiding town meeting and keeping in tune with Massachusetts state law. As you know, if you've attended several town meetings, all town meetings will be video and audio recorded, and M-PACT is the only official recording for the meetings. That recording assists the town clerk when certifying each meeting. Other recordings of other types are not allowed without the consent of the moderator, as voted at previous town meetings. We silence our cell phones for obvious reasons, but if there's an emergency, we can take the calls outside. We limit our side conversations so we know what's going on. If you wish to speak to any article, you must be recognized by the moderator. That's part of my job. Approach the line at the microphone at the front of the auditorium, and you will be recognized to speak after clearly stating your name and address. Of course, only Monson citizens, registered voters, may speak. Occasionally, we may have a non-resident who may speak at the discretion of the moderator. When questions come up, the questions are posed to the moderator. Everyone should express themselves completely and concisely in an honest, focused, and respectful manner, staying on the topic being discussed and dealing with the issue, not the person. All speakers should be treated with dignity and respect by listening attentively when they're speaking, and we don't interrupt them. We accept the opinions that are different from our own. We should always refrain from making threats or rude comments to fellow citizens, as they're both unnecessary and unproductive. And persistent disruptive behavior may result in an individual being asked to take leave or be escorted from the meeting. And of course, any article can be amended, but they must be in writing in duplicate. And we have a form that we've set up to do that. The picture board is simply a quick little way to see, I make a motion. I get someone seconds it. There's discussion. A vote takes place. Some yes, some no, some abstain. And then the results are announced. The people of Monson who've been attending the town meetings since I set up these norms have been extremely, extremely cooperative. And I'm very appreciative of that, truly. Now, there is a learning curve for a town moderator, and I'm grateful for the assistance of our town clerk, previous and current town administrators, and town councils. And realizing that no moderator knows it all, I joined the Massachusetts Moderators Association, and I attend our annual forums to learn do's and don'ts. We discuss and seek solutions to situations that may arise at a town meeting. This is one way that I aim to keep current with new legislative and judicial proceedings that could affect how to conduct town meeting business more efficiently. And believe it or not, many cities and towns with open town meetings face the very same issues that we face here in Monson. We're not alone. I once received a note from a voter saying, "I just wanted to commend you on the fine job that you're doing as moderator. I'm happy that such an integral position in our town government is occupied by a person who honors the dignity of the job and the voters whose voices you draw out." I appreciate that vote of confidence, and I sincerely hope that all citizens will exercise their right to vote at our annual town election at Memorial Hall on June 10th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And very sincerely and humbly ask you to allow me to continue to serve you as Monson's town moderator by voting for me, Peter Matro, candidate for re-election to the town moderator position.
Hello, my fellow citizens of Monson. My name is Laurent McDonald. I had the pleasure of serving as your fire chief from 2012 to 2019, and now I would like to serve as your next moderator. I kindly ask for your vote. In his book, Democracy in America, Alexis de Tocqueville said, "Town meetings are to liberty what primary schools are to science. They bring it within people's reach. They teach people how to use and enjoy it." It is in that spirit you'll find the reason why I wish to serve in this important role as your town moderator. Town meeting decides three major things. It sets the salaries for elected officials, it sets and votes the appropriate money for the budget to run the town, and it votes on town's local statutes, the bylaws and such. Things that directly affect your everyday life. As your moderator, I will work to ensure the business of the town meeting is conducted in a fair, consistent, and efficient manner. That is my motivation for running for moderator. I have nearly 45 years of experience working in all three levels of government, federal, state, and local, as well as nonprofit. I am a 21-year retired veteran of the United States Air Force. I have served as chair of various organizations through my career in public, private, and nonprofit organizations. I have served as presiding officer in the following organizations: the Air Force Sergeants Association, Local Chapter 1555, Southern Worcester County Community Development Corporation, Western Massachusetts Fire Chiefs Association, Hamden County Fire Mutual Aid Association, the Southbridge Redevelopment Authority as vice chair, the Southbridge Town Council as vice chair and chair of various subcommittees. I have extensive experience in parliamentary procedure and will use that experience to ensure the business of the town meeting is conducted fairly and efficiently to accomplish the town's business, all while giving our citizens an opportunity to speak to the issues that affect their everyday lives. Please vote for me as your next town moderator. Thank you.
My name is Russell Brissett. I'm running as a candidate for the Board of Assessors office. To give you a little bit of background, I was born and raised in Monson. I've lived in Monson my entire life. I was appointed to the Board of Assessors in 1972. I was elected in 1974, and I've been an assessor ever since then, a little over 50 years. I ran because I care about our town, and I want to thank everybody for electing me for all these years, and I'm proud to serve the people of Monson. I have a couple of things from my office that I brought just to let you know. Some of the things were that in chapter land, there is 29% of the property in chapter land between 61, 61A, and 61B. Town-owned parcels and parcels are 22%, which means the property in Monson of 51% is either exempt from taxes or has a tax break. There are 10% businesses that raise the tax and 90% of the property and personal property taxes from Monson. A couple of other interesting things that I would like to point out is the Norcross Sanctuary has 25 parcels equaling 1,925 acres. The Conservation Commission has 39 parcels, equaling 1,223 acres. The Reservation Trust has 10 parcels, which equals 425 acres. Water and Sewer has 9 properties equaling 44 acres. An interesting note is we have 11 cemeteries in the town of Monson. So how the tax rate is actually produced is that at the annual meeting and special meetings, the town to be raised by taxation last year was $17,447,508. The total of valuation of real estate and personal property is $1,173,333,151. So you take the total raised by taxation and divide it by the valuation of the town, and that's what equals the tax rate. That's why it is very important to go to all the meetings, the annual meetings, and the meetings that have to do with any raising of taxes in town, because that is how the tax rate in Monson is set. And I just thought that that would be a personal note that everybody would like to know. I am a veteran. I'm a Vietnam era veteran. And right now, I would have to say the selectmen have appointed a VSO, which is not qualified to handle any of our claims. I'm a little disappointed in that, but I would guess the selectmen will have to address that afterwards. The other point that I would like to make is our land that's in conservation. I know that we have quite a bit of land in conservation, and I'm all for the conservation land. I don't understand why they don't maintain the property, because without maintaining forest, what happens is the trees fall down and die, and it creates a fire hazard. And I'm very much afraid of the town that we have 39 parcels and they're not maintaining them. I want to thank you for voting for me. I've been an assessor for over 50 years, and I thank you very much for your support.
Hi, Monson. My name is Colleen Flynn, and I'm seeking re-election to the school committee in this upcoming June election. I'm currently wrapping up my second term on this committee, and I'm eager to continue on to a third as the district moves forward with new leadership and a renewed sense of purpose and vision. Aside from the 6 years I've served with this committee, my professional background is in restaurant operations and management. A person seeking to hold office is constantly bound to two questions of self-reflection. Who do I speak for, and who do I answer to? The most obvious answer to me in relation to the school committee is very easy, because the most important hat I wear is tied to my most important role, that of a parent. Every night I go home to a 12-year-old who asks me for help with homework, what time dinner will be ready, and can she please have a lift to the park to go play with her friends. I've watched my daughter go through her years at Granite Valley and Corey Hill with a direct investment in and responsibility for the quality of her education. As she moves to Monson High next year, The motivation that inspired me to run in 2019 and again in 2022 are echoed as we look to the future together. I see her as so much more than a per pupil expenditure, and her worth is so much more than her MCAT scores. She, like every other student in Massachusetts, has the right to a quality public education, and it is overall the reason I continue to feel called to serve in this role. I'll keep my pitch short and sweet, as anyone who's attended our meetings over my time on the board has a pretty good understanding of how I operate. The school committee is comprised of 5 members, all who bring their individual perspective, expertise, and lived experience to the table. This diverse, ever-changing makeup of the board creates a unique space that allows us to engage in difficult conversations, but also reach consensus that supports the shared vision and stated mission of the Monson Public Schools. Effective communication is critical to our overall success, and I think any of the dozen or so members that I've worked with over the years can attest to my willingness to facilitate the sort of dialogue that is required to create strong relationships and positive outcomes in both our district and overall community. In this role, we have an obligation to be both good citizens and good neighbors. The school committee is a nonpartisan board, one that cannot afford to be derailed by personal agendas, egos, or closed-mindedness. It benefits from out-of-the-box thinking and collaboration, and embracing the fact that the path forward does not need to be the way we have always done things. If elected, I'll continue to bring the same team player mentality I've always strived to deliver. But this time, armed with the knowledge of process, procedure, and policy that I've gained over the years. I'm excited about what the future holds for our schools, and I think you should be too. I urge you to talk to your family and neighbors about the importance of registering to vote and participating in municipal elections such as the one held in June, as well as town meeting. I also encourage parents and grandparents to get involved with the volunteer organizations, such as the PTSA and Athletic Boosters, who do so much during the school year and sports seasons to support your kids. Any amount of effort is seen and appreciated, whether it's your time or donations. I have seen more engagement from staff and families this year than I have in years past, and I truly hope to see that momentum continue. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you at the polls on June 10th.